A very good morning, Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And this morning we are taking a look on what President Nelson Chamisa said yesterday. He wrote in his on his channel and said, "I'm aware of the suffering and pain we are all going through as a people. The answer is already there. Thank you all for your unwavering commitment and solid support. The problems we are facing will be solved in a unique way. God is not man that he should promise and not deliver. Be of good cheer, trust the process, be blessed. Remember, God is in it forever and always." So this is the message from President Advocate Nelson Chamisa, and the message is coming at a point where we have seen so many attacks from all angles. And remember, Comrade Geza was doing whatever which he was doing, of which everybody offered him support, he offered him solidarity, and every media house, progressive media house, covered the events of Comrade Geza fearlessly, despite the threats by the regime to arrest, censor, and deal with anybody who was going to do so. Everybody was sharing Comrade Geza's messages. But the biggest problem we are having is that there are people who are taking this opportunity to attack President Nelson Chamisa instead. So they have turned this whole issue to become a Nelson Chamisa issue. The biggest problem which we have is that it's Comrade Geza who made a claim and said, "Ndakataura nima opposition leaders ese." But none of those opposition leaders could confirm that indeed Comrade Geza spoke to them. Why? It's because as of now, what we can say is there is a probability that that statement was not made in good faith, or there is something else. But what is very, very important is to note that President Nelson Chamisa is not an ignorant man. He's a man who understands that we have suffered as a people. He's a man who understands that we are suffering as a nation and there is need for a solution. We can go back to history, go back to the days of Morgan Tsvangirai. Morgan Tsvangirai could mobilize, could bring people into the streets, could do a lot of things. But at the end of the day, what is important are the results. What is important is the final product. What was the final product? Morgan Tsvangirai had to leave us with Nelson Chamisa. That is the final product which Morgan Tsvangirai gave us. For all the years he struggled, he gave us Nelson Chamisa. So, he gave us Nelson Chamisa so that he can complete the battle, so that he can complete the war which Morgan Tsvangirai launched and struggled for a very long time. He died in the trenches. He died fighting. Morgan died fighting. He fought to the last day he could stand before the people. So his absence from the battlefield started when he was no longer able to do so. But he left us a leader whom we should believe in. I have seen a lot of people making comparisons. David did this, David did that. All they forget is David was given a chance to kill Saul, but he didn't. Instead, they went and collected a water jar from Saul, collected a weapon from Saul, and they went on top of the mountain and they called him and said, "Where are your items?" And Saul couldn't find them. Eventually, Saul left and went back to the city. Up until the last day of Saul, it was not David who killed Saul. So when you are giving comparatives, you need to be very, very careful with whatever comparison you make, because sometimes you end up contradicting yourself. When we look at whatever which is happening right now in the nation of Zimbabwe, look at the story of Joshua. There is a way which Moses led the struggle or led the people from Egypt. But when Joshua took over, he led the battle in a different way. Instead of attacking Jericho, he used a different method. where they had to cycle the city for several times, blowing up trumpets. Moses didn't do that. This was a new strategy of Joshua. So we need to understand that each and every leader comes with his own unique way of doing things. President Nelson Chamisa is not an ignorant man, is not a man who is going to leave Zimbabweans to perish or to suffer. He is working. The only thing I can say is he is working. If you listen very carefully, I have tried for quite some time to comment much about President Nelson Chamisa's activities, what he is doing, like whatsoever. Why? It's because I don't want a situation where you end up preempting something you are not supposed to say, because out of 10 words, if you simply say one word, those vanenge vachitsvaga zvavari kutsvaga, vanenge vane dzimwe mhepo dzavari kunzwa, they can quickly pick what you mean. That is the reason why you have seen that we have deliberately avoided covering the issues of Nelson Chamisa so much. It's because it's part of the strategy in this war against ZANU-PF. It's part of the strategy to make sure that we deal with ZANU-PF once and for all. We do not want a situation where we are going to have change but ZANU-PF remains there. That is not change. We need real change, where ZANU-PF will totally collapse because it has become a national security threat. ZANU-PF is a terror organization. ZANU-PF is the biggest enemy of Zimbabweans. The party itself has created an environment which is not conducive for politics, an environment which is so bad for the people in the politics of our country. Across the region, ZANU-PF is the biggest problem. They are trying by all means possible to influence other political organizations and other countries to do things their own way. So we have to deal with ZANU-PF. How do we deal with a system? ZANU-PF is not only a party, it's a system. So how do we deal with the system? We uproot the system. Uprooting the system does not entail that we go onto the top of the tree. We go and deal with the roots. We go and deal with the roots. We uproot the tree. So, which means we are dealing with the underground right here. That is what Zimbabweans must understand. So when you are uprooting the system, it's not something which can be easily done in a single day to say, okay, we have done everything. You need to prepare. You need to do reconnaissance, thorough reconnaissance, to understand if we do this, if they do this, what are we going to do? If we do this and they do that, what are we going to do? Because we are dealing with a system which is controlling billions of dollars, yet we don't have money. How do we deal with a system with billions of dollars? We have to be very, very careful. We have to apply wisdom. We need God on our side. That is the reason why President Nelson Chamisa is doing all he can to make sure that he puts people together. He puts a competent team. Remember, vachamisa vakasara vasina vanhu vavanogona kutrust. So building a competent team chayo ritori basa rekuti unobuilda chikwata chevanhu kuti each and every province une vanhu vako vaunogona kutrust vekuti zvezvizvi ukafona kana kuti ukataura navo, they will give you accurate information of what is happening on the ground. Ibasa rakatokura pachezvaro. Then the people of Zimbabwe would simply expect kuti Chamisa angoita zvinhu haphazard. Comrade Geza is coming with a message which resonates with the people. But there is one problem. He was part of the system. So you don't just wake up one day and you trust the person fully 100%, which means even if you are to work with the person, iye pachake ane zvinhu zvaari kufanira kutofulfilla as a way yekuratidza his commitment to the struggle yatakatarisana nayo, so that we do not jeopardize what we have done. Haugone kuti une zvawakabata maoko woda kuti regai ndirase zvandinazvo izvi ndimboombera. You don't do that. You don't throw away what you have for what you have had. You don't throw away what you have for a promise. There must be something, a collateral first, which is more valuable than what you have. Once you get that collateral, then you now shift the position. That is a strategy. When you are dealing with these issues, we're talking about these issues, we're talking about strategic ways to survive politically. We are in a war, so we need to deal with things the way they are. So proper reconnaissance is what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. That is what President Nelson Chamisa is focusing on. And President Nelson Chamisa does not want a situation where you say, okay, tagadzira government, tagadzira system. You simply run kuapoenda vanhu vasiri kuzwa kuti ndiri kuapoenda vanani. Bhora iri rakapera kudhara. Chasara ndechekuti pari kuda kuzikanwa kuti apo pachaendani, apo pachaendani, apo pachaendani, apo pachaendani. Are these people trustworthy? Can we trust this one? Can we trust this one? Can we trust that one? Because we are talking about uprooting a system. He's not continuing with the system. He's uprooting the system and start afresh. So urufana upinda uchitoziva so that you don't make the same mistakes. So there is a lot involved right here. There is a lot involved. Saka vana veZimbabwe ngatirambe takabatana. The reason why people couldn't get into the streets is because there is something chisina kuitwa zvakanaka. In those things, the people involved, they know what they need to do. Once they've completed their homework, it will be easy. Musi unouya change muZimbabwe vanhu vachabvunza mibvunzo yekuti ko zvaimbotinetsa seiko makore esa. It's because when the day has come, no man can stop it. Change is coming to the nation of Zimbabwe. Let us continue to support President Nelson Chamisa.